Well, here's a story you might think is a bit unbelievable as well. Lost and found, we've told countless stories over the years about dogs and cats that run away from home. Today's story, not so simple. It's the tale of a bird named Blue. The pet parrot navigated Saskatchewan's living skies in a daring escape from the southern Saskatchewan village of Torquay, which is near Estevan. Blue's disappearance set off a frantic search. Rhys MacLean is the bird's owner, and Rhys joins us live right now. Good afternoon, Rhys.
Good afternoon, Peter. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thanks for sharing this pretty wild story. First, just what can you tell us about Blue?
Well, so first, Blue's actually my mother's parrot, but my mother being 75 and elderly now, I'm kind of doing all the PR stuff for the bird on on her behalf. So so my mother's always had these pet parrots. She had Blue before Blue went missing for about 10 years, give or take. May 3rd, I believe it was, Blue ended up ambushing an open door as my stepdad was walking in from the garage. And then she flew out the open door, did a couple of victory laps in the garage, and then flew out the man door. And we thought she was gone forever.
Rhys, tell me about this. So, was Blue in a cage, or did your mom just let her fly around the house?
They leave the cage open in the house because they've never really had any issues or anything like that. Blue's cage mate Kiwi is a Hans macaw parrot, and they like to get out, walk around. But a Kiwi doesn't fly, but Blue does, is the thing, right? So they just kind of leave the door open, and they spend most of the time in the cage. They actually prefer to just go in there and hang out. And then when Blue feels like getting exercise, just does a little lap around the house,
Fair enough.
So
So what happened? Blue gets out the door. Then what happened?
So gets out the interior door, the garage, then gets out the exterior door. And my stepdad was coming up to grab something from me, and he phoned me. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to be a little bit late. Blue just got out." And I was like, "Oh, no." Right? Because everyone's first thought with that, as you were saying with dogs and cats and all that, people lose pets all the time. But one that can be in the air, one that's airborne, that's definitely a whole new set of challenges, isn't it?
So how did the family feel about that? Like, were you automatically
terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone felt terrible, right? My stepdad just felt terrible. My mom, it was just an honest accident. She's never done that before or been anywhere close to that. But they did just recently move about a year ago from Calgary, Alberta, to Torquay, and so new surroundings, new behaviors, things like that. And we thought as soon as it was like, oh no, she made it outside, and we all knew, we all had that sinking feeling we were never going to find this bird, and it's going to, even if we did, it was going to be next to impossible.
So Rhys, sorry to interrupt, that adds an extra element to this, right? Even if it is a bird, these are new surroundings, right? It's in an entirely different province. So what did you guys do when Blue went missing?
Well, I asked myself that, like, what can you do, right? Like, what can you do to kind of help out or anything like that? So all I could think of was doing a Facebook post. So I wrote a Facebook post and posted an Estevan community page and the Lost Pets. But I wrote that post with zero optimism that it was going to go anywhere. To be honest with you, I wrote the post as kind of like a closure thing because I didn't know how else to be there for my mom or my stepdad, right? And I knew how bad they felt. So I took some time and I laced the post with kind of like wit and humor to kind of, lighten the mood with it. And, it was kind of closure. It was kind of like, that felt like the only thing I could do. Right. But even after writing a post and I got a lot of messages the whole time about that. Right. People were really on the ball with that. I had people messaging me at 2:30 in the morning, recording sounds,
Wow,
bird sounds in their backyard in Estevan, and be like, "This sounds like a weird kind of exotic bird. Do you think this could be the missing bird? So the people really pulled together, and they were actually really keeping an eye out. Right? It was surprising.
That doesn't surprise me, Rhys, because I know the bird watching community in Saskatchewan is incredible, and I love that they would send you sounds. Now I'm wondering, when did you first get a tip that was actually promising? What happened?
Well, we got a bunch of tips, but none of them really seemed to be promising. And Blue is, even though she's a domesticated house pet, essentially, that flies with wings, she's extremely hard to catch. Like, even enclosed in a room like this, she would be very difficult to catch. So there was that factor to it, that now she's loose in the wild. Now she's found her wings, right? Because she always was a strong flyer. And it was like, even if someone did find this bird in Estevan, right, which is about 20, 25 minutes from where my parents' house are, my folks' house in Torquay. It was like, by the time my stepdad or me could get there from where we live, Blue's not going to stay in one spot that long,
Blue ended up a lot further away, Rhys. What happened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right, So, like, even if we found her local, it was kind of hopeless. The overall feeling was hopeless because, like, even if someone did send us a picture and it's like, that's Blue, okay, let's go over there, how we would wrangle her with everywhere for her to go now would be impossible. So it was really quite shocking when I got the message, the first message about Saskatoon Parrot Rescue and their post of this lost bird they found, and in Prince Albert. And I've heard of Prince Albert, but I don't spend a lot of time up in northern Saskatchewan at all. So I looked up the distance. It's like, in a straight line, it's just under 500 kilometers away in a straight line, right? Never mind, this bird is panicky. This bird was always kind of hyper and all this stuff. Anyways, difficult to catch, contain, and very, very responsive, I guess would be a good term for it. Right?
So how did somebody find it in PA?
Well, so this post comes out from Janet at Saskatoon Parrot Rescue, and it was a lady in PA named Kathy C that ended up capturing Blue. And then she took Blue into Saskatoon Parrot Rescue, where Janet could oversee and provide care and try to locate the real owners of the bird. I didn't actually know, because I never talked to Kathy C or anything until Brienne just did that article in the Star Phoenix, and then she interviewed Kathy C. And yeah, now it all checks out, because from what I gathered, it took the better part of 2 weeks for them to try and catch that bird.
Wow, and Blue just kept going there. We're going to run out of time, Rhys. We got about 30 seconds, but how is Blue doing? Is she back home now, obviously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's been back home for about a month, 2 months now. She's eating like crazy, but I mean, consistent behavior for not having your convenient food source there hooked to the next, hooked to your cage right there on demand, right?
That
was the other issue.
After a 500-kilometer trip, I'm sure she burned some calories.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She did. Yeah. So she's still eating like absolute mad, and she's starting to put on a little bit of weight and stuff like that again.
Rhys, we're going to get kicked off by the news, so I got to cut you off. Thank you so much, Rhys.
No problem. No problem.
Rhys MacLean telling us about Blue, who flew 500 kilometers from Torquay to PA.